What's up, DIY Nation? Your buddy Darren, DIY 1978 guy, here with another video. 2 in 1 day. Nope, I just wear the same clothes all the time. That's how it goes. Still back with my dad joke shirt for my daughter. Gotta tell her, I love you, baby. If you watch this, I love you. Oh, and the hat. It's not a dad, it's not a father, what does it say? It's not a dad bod, it's a father figure. Get you one of those. I live by that. Anyway, total brain fart there. Today's video, we are going to go into another segment of the 2021 F150, well, it's actually 2021 and up, F150 daytime running lamp issue. You guys have probably seen the previous videos that I've done where we swapped ballast. That didn't work. Actually swapped headlights with a unit that I bought, hoping that that one was going to be good. And, you know, I could use mine as a test mule. Turns out the one I bought, same exact problem. So it's going to become the test mule. I just did another video a little while ago, which I got to post still, on doing some forescan changes to see changing the brightness. If that had anything to do with it, weirdly, it did. And you guys can go watch that video and see what we discovered on that one. I won't go into it on this, but there was a little bit of a change. Didn't fix it, but there was some changes that happened by changing forescan codes to change the brightness. Anyway, in today's video, we are finally going to dive into the dissection of this guy. Yes, this is the headlight that I bought off a marketplace from a fellow who was very honest, said he couldn't tell whether or not it worked, if anything worked on it. It was in the truck, like in the bed of the truck when he got it. So it had obviously been swapped out. The headlight is whole. It's not cracked. It's not broken. There's no parts missing off of it, which is part of the reason I bought it. I was hoping I was going to get lucky, but the stars were not aligned that day. Anyway, I've never taken one of these things apart. As a matter of fact, while I didn't spend 27 hours on YouTube and everywhere else trying to find a video of it, I did look. I did spend a few hours looking online to see if anybody had actually ever taken one of these things apart. And I didn't find a video on it. Doesn't mean there isn't one out there. I just didn't find the video on it. If any of you guys know of a video where somebody actually took one of these things apart and went through it, that'd be great. We can compare notes and everything like that. Leave it down in the comment section. I'd love to watch it. But anyway, I'm going into this blindly. I've looked over it a number of times. I've walked by it several times. I've even thrown it the stink eye probably 2 or 3 times. And still, not sure exactly how we're going to do this. So you guys are going to walk along this journey with me, trying to disassemble this. Now, I do see, let me bring you in here for a second. I do see, just by looking at it, obviously, we're going to have to remove the ballast, which is 4 screws. Have to remove these lights, remove this light and this light. This is the main plug for all the internals inside there. And then around the rim of here, there are a few, looks like they're either Torx or hex-headed screws that we'll have to take out, I'm sure. So as we go along this thing, here's a regular screw, there's another regular screw, and there's another one here, and that looks like all of it. I doubt it's going to come apart that way, but that's essentially what I'm going to start with by trying to take this thing apart. Okay, I'm going to start there. I'm going to go around that rim. And my apologies for the creaking on the camera mount. I'm going to go around the rim, pull those things off. They have some tabs on here. I don't know if you can see this or not. This thing doesn't like to flex. They do have tabs where the external cover actually snaps in place. Maybe that will just come off after those screws come out, and there's just a rubber gasket inside there. That would be optimum, or optimal, optometrist. One of those words, that'd be good. Let's go with that. Synonyms for the win. That would be really good if this thing comes apart by removing these screws and flipping these tabs up. I'm very much prepared and ready to actually pull the heat gun out and actually do this, hoping I don't have to, but we're gonna try and see. Either way, it's the first time I'm walking through this. Hopefully we can get it apart without breaking it. If I need to break it to get it apart, I don't really lose anything because, well, it don't work anyway. It's just a core unit, if you will. So anyway, let me get set up, get some tools together, and we're gonna dive into, what was it? 6th grade science class, and we're gonna dissect something, except it's not a live animal. It's not a frog or a lizard or something like that. Anyway, grab you a beer, 2, something like that. Tequila, if that's your thing. Cup of coffee. If you don't drink, whatever. Grab you something to drink. Grab you a couple snacks. Have a seat. Let's go for a ride. I'll be back in a minute. All right. So I have got a random assortment of tools over here that we're going to use to do this. So let's go ahead and get started. See what we can break. Not really, but you know, could break something. So let's start out by taking off this ballast. This is a couple of 7mm screws. Old brake part, you know, brake pad boxes make great screw holders and stuff like that when you're taking things apart here. You guys see this all right? Yep. All right. So as stated before, I don't know if you guys could see it in the other video, there's 2 plugs on the back of this thing here. You got your black wire, your black plug here, which we're going to take off, and then the blue plug. I don't know, I don't have a pin out for these, so I'm not sure exactly what those all do yet. But doesn't look like we necessarily have to take that out. I just got it out of the way to see if there's some screws on the bottom. Go ahead and remove our light bulbs. We don't need those. Take this out. Again, I'm just shooting in the wind here, people. I don't really know how this thing comes apart. So yes, I have to actually use hand tools. I don't have a Torx bit small enough for this. That goes in the drill anyway. So we're going to manually take this apart. And I really hope that, you know, while we're doing this, I really hope that this is entertaining to y'all, or at least informative, right? Like I said, I couldn't find any videos where anybody has taken one of these things apart, much less gone through it, explained it, or anything like that. There's one right here. To understand the operation of this thing. And of course, for those who are watching this video and haven't seen the previous videos on this all stems from you know, me being extremely stubborn about a problem, and especially when it's like a technology problem. I mean, I like technology or mechanical problems, I should say. But this one's really bothered me because this problem with the LED is too common in the industry on a mass-produced vehicle for it to just be an anomaly, if you know what I mean. So the fact that, you know, this truck cost $60,000+ new, you know, this was the first year of this model that had these style headlights with this LED array, which is really cool. I've really, in the past, not been a fan of daytime running lamps, to be perfectly honest. I think it's a dumb concept. I mean, turning the headlights on in the middle of the daytime, especially back when it was halogen lights in a lot of the vehicles, is just a waste. I mean, they burn out. This is why you drive around at night and you see a bunch of people missing a headlight bulb because their daytime running lamps burned out in the middle of the daytime. But I've historically thought daytime running lamps was a dumb idea. But because of the way this thing and some of the newer vehicles have these accents with LEDs, I think they look really cool. And so I was not opposed to this being on the truck. I actually left them on. And, well, I got exactly what I thought. It burned out. So let's see if we're going to be able to. Does not look like lifting these tabs. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm lifting these tabs here, trying to see if I can get this thing to break free. Now granted, yeah, this is probably going to be a little more difficult than what meets the eye. It looks like these might actually be adhesive. Does not look like this thing wants to come off. So I guess we're gonna take a look, try this with the heat gun and see if we can't get this to pop. Let's try over here and see. I mean, it makes sense that they would have adhesive on this thing because, I mean, God forbid you get any moisture inside these things like some of the other lights and a lot of the aftermarket lights have. Let's see, is that a... That looks like a bit of a little adhesive strip there. So, yeah. This looks like it's going to be fun. Oh yeah, there's some, looks like glue almost on the bottom there. So let's see, I'll take you along the journey to start with the heat gun and we'll see if we can make something happen here. And I'm going to run this thing on low so that we don't melt the plastic here. And I'll probably fast forward this part just so you guys don't have to watch the agony of heating up adhesive. Let's start over here and see if I can actually get something to start breaking free as I heat it up. I think this is going to be quite a difficult feat here, so nope, don't want that setting. Let's see if we can burn the tablecloth. All right, let me play around with this for a bit, see if I can actually get this started, and then I'll bring you guys back in here. So I'll be right back. All right, well, I'm back after about 16 days, 27 hours, and 67 minutes. I have finally gotten the cover, the front cover, off of the headlight. Had to use this thing to get some more light in here. That was not an easy job. One thing became very, very apparent to me quickly is that, and I'm going to show you this thing in a minute. One thing became very apparent is they do not want you to get that cover off. Nope, don't want you to. I literally had to warm this thing up hotter than the blazes of hell to the tune of melting the plastic just to get this rubber seal, this adhesive seal, even somewhat pliable enough to get a screwdriver in here. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So, as you can see, going around the edge, trying to get the screwdriver in there. I mean, I used an X-Acto knife, everything, and it just would not. It would not let go. There is, shy of putting this thing in the oven and warming it up to like 250 degrees or something like that, which even then I don't even know if would be hot enough. But shy of putting this thing in the oven and baking it, I don't know if you would actually get this thing off without damaging the plastic. So, but again, This is a core. Not planning on using it again. This is more of a research exercise to see what is how this thing works. There's the front cover, right? So it's got all the chrome and the cool looking accents on the inside and everything like that. Now that came off without any problem. I didn't break that, but you can see this adhesive they put on here is just ridiculous. Does not want to let go. I mean, there's literally no way to do this without busting the plastic. So I'm surprised I did get it off as in one piece as I did, but now we can look down in there. We can see this is where the actual LED array light is, and it's actually not even a light array in here. It is actually, this is just almost like this, a similar effect to what fiber optic line would do, right? You can shoot line through a fiber optic. You just have to have shoot light, excuse me, through a fiber optic, and it'll light up. That's essentially what this does. So it looks like the actual LEDs are back inside there. We're gonna take this whole thing apart, but it's back inside there, and the light lights up, and that's what actually lights up this array. So you can see up inside there, maybe, I don't know, that's probably a glare, but up inside there, there's two LED diodes or light emitting diodes for the low beams. Then we got the high beam diodes inside there. So let me go ahead and disassemble this thing a little bit more, and we'll see what we see on the next round. I'll be right back. Don't y'all go leaving me now. So there it is, folks. That is what actually produces the light for the daytime running lamps. There's a little white plug over here. I don't know if you can see this. Yep, you can. That snaps into this. This little guy sits like this on here. Supposed to. I mean, it was on there. There you go. It sits on there like that. 3 screws that hold it in. These are the heat sinks, it looks like, for this. And I'll show you why it needs a heat sink in a second. Looks like there's some other heat sinks under here. I guess that's what I'm guessing those are. They look like heat sinks. And then these are the actual 2 LEDs right here. There's a dual LED for the top strip, the one that goes across the top of the light. And then this is the one that actually lights up that vertical array in here. They are side specific, as to be expected. Let's see here, what else we got? Right hand dual, just reading these things, a bunch of numbers on there. Right hand, I don't know if you can read those numbers on there or not. So I'll put all these numbers down there. Matter of fact, here, I'll take some pictures of this real quick. All right, right hand. Look this up and see what we can actually find. See if that part's actually replaceable. I imagine you probably could buy this thing. LED, let's see, LED 1, LED 3, LED 2. I imagine you probably could buy this thing and replace it, provided you could get the dang cover off the light. I mean, I understand they got to seal the darn thing, but good Lord, what a pain that was. Did I mention that was a pain? Anyway, so here's the interesting thing about this. Now, so like I said, this is the one that lights up that vertical array in there. And can't tell if this is focused. These two light up the other array. Now you can maybe see, it's kind of hard to see in the camera, there's 2 dark marks on those LEDs that are actually burn marks. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but right there those LEDs for, again, the bottom one is the vertical array, the horizontal array that goes across the top. Those two LEDs were actually burning into the plastic. That's how hot those things get. It does not look like that single LED was burning in. There is a little discoloration in there, but I'm actually surprised that actually, I take that back. I was actually wrong. I had the light the wrong way. Hold up a second. So, okay, let's try this again. Horizontal, vertical. Spin this around. Okay, that makes more sense now. This burn mark actually goes to the vertical array, the one that's bad. Wow, look at that. And you can see the marks. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Let me turn the light off of this thing real quick. I don't know if the ambient light helps, but these two LEDs are actually burned. The ones that light up that vertical array. And then, of course, like I said, there's two burn marks in the plastic. So I'm curious to know if the LEDs themselves are burned out, or just because it has those burn marks on them is the reason why you don't get the light through it. I suppose both are plausible. Let's see, you know, maybe I can do it. Let's try it with this thing. Yeah, not quite the same effect. Anyway, so very, very interesting discovery. Wow. So there you go. I'm going to attempt to power these things up, see if I can get some power to them and light them up here. Give me a couple of minutes to mess around with that. I got a battery and some wires. I'm going to try it. I'm going to see if I can't get these things to light up and see if they actually work. So I'll be back. All right, welcome back. So I had some time to play around with this thing, and I was unsuccessful in getting it to light up. Clearly, the low beam on this light is the only one that you can apply direct 12-volt power to two of the pins, and it'll light up. Despite the fact that, you know, I have the wiring diagram and went through it in a previous video to verify, you know, power, there is some other combination of power that you need to apply to that plug, which I have not figured out yet, in order to get this to work properly. So I'm gonna have to do a little more research on this and see if I can figure out a way to make this light up with, you know, just stuff that I have around here without having to purchase anything too expensive, or, you know, a pulse width modulator, for instance. I was told, I think that the LED lights on the DRLs use pulse width modulation, which makes sense. The way that they can change the brightness is just, again, that cycle that I was talking about in a previous video, right? It just, instead of it sending just a full 12-volt power to the light, in order for it to seem dimmer, and because, you know, your eyes don't pick up the cycle on an LED light, it actually pulses it really fast. And the slower it pulses, the dimmer the light gets. Again, your eye doesn't pick it up, the camera does, which is why you see that flickering in the LED when you look at it through the camera lens. So anyway, like I said, I have to see if I can figure out a way to do this, or if I feel like pulling the grill off my truck again, plugging this thing back into the truck without the cover on it, and then seeing if I can see what I see. I may do that. I don't know yet, but let me take you in here and show you some more of what's inside this light. So as I stated, you know, this is the low beam headlights. There's two diodes in there, And look at the size of these heat sinks. These things are beefy. Look at those things. I guess those LEDs get pretty hot. So there, let's see if you can see that in there. There's the actual, well, there's a plug in there. It looks like that might actually be the light's right above it. I mean, it's just a little microscopic. It's hard to see. It's hard for me to get the light in here with the camera, but this I found interesting. Very, very tight wire in here. I mean, this thing has got some serious tension on it. Of course, here's the DRL lights that I was messing with. And then same thing for the high beam lights, right? The high beams are down here at the bottom. Same thing. They got two big old honking heat sinks, one per LED. And it's really strange why you can't power up the high beams just applying voltage to the plug back there like you can the low beams. I also have not been able to find yet a wiring diagram on this ballast. I gotta search my shop manual for that and see if I can find it, but other than that, relatively basic. I mean, you got your mirrors, separators. I'm not entirely sure how these things come out. I mean, it looks like they just snap on to these, but I was prying on them a little bit and they don't come out. This screw looks like it removes just this little plastic separator here. So, and then of course you have your wiring harness that goes down through here, pops out the bottom for that guy, and then of course the back side of the main power plug that powers up all of this stuff inside here. So very interesting. I don't know exactly yet what else I'm going to do with this thing. I may take it apart some more. Like I said, I might actually plug it back into my truck. If I can't figure out some way to bench test it, which I know there's ways to bench test these things. Like I said, I just don't know if you need any kind of expensive equipment to do it. But I got some research to do. Was kind of upset that I couldn't get this thing to light up. However, I was kind of interested in finding out that, you know, once again, this, let's see if you can see this without the camera. I mean, without the light, that this was burned as bad as it is. Even if the LEDs themselves didn't burn out, which I think is probably part of the problem, if not the problem, having those charred marks on that plastic is definitely going to impact the brightness you're going to see for that LED DRL array. So I'd say for right now we're at another standstill until I figure out some next steps for this thing, but very much thank you guys for joining me on this and being patient with me while I'm doing this. Again, this is all a discovery exercise. I've never done this before. Well, not with this kind of headlight. I've taken headlights apart before, tested them, done all this stuff. Not one on a truck like this, or even you know, this late a model of vehicle. So this is, again, part of DIY and part of the discovery process to figure out what's going on with these darn things, so, and how they work. So I'll do some more research and we'll come back maybe with something else. But until then, thank you very much, everybody out there. I appreciate it. Make sure you work on your dad jokes. If you're a dad, fill the tank and you know, get your dad jokes going. Appreciate you guys. God bless you all. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying these. Leave me some comments. Again, if you know of any videos where these have been taken apart, tested, all this kind of stuff, even if they're proprietary and you can share them, put them down in the comments, message me privately on Facebook. Like I said, I have a Facebook page now for this channel. But you guys rock. I love all the support. I love the comments, and I appreciate everything. So God bless you all. DIY 1978 guy.